My name is Mary Alice Lee. I'm the director of the New York City Playground Program at the Trust for Public Land. Trust for Public Land is a national nonprofit organization. We conserve land for people to use as public parks, as community gardens, and playgrounds. And I work on the latter part of that. I work on the New York City Playground Program. We have a partnership with the Department of Education, the School Construction Authority, the New York City Parks Department, and also the Mayor's Office to redesign approximately 290 schoolyards to transform them from asphalt schoolyards into community parks and playgrounds. I think one of the great things about this program is the fact that we're really involving the community in deciding what exactly is going to go into the schoolyards. So these are basically asphalt schoolyards that have nothing in them. They're surrounded by chain link mesh fences. And we work with the schools and also the community to figure out what should go into them based on the needs of the school and community. So for example, we want to make sure that there's space for lineup, there's space for recess, there's space where maybe the teachers can take the students out for an outdoor classroom session. We want to make sure that physical education classes can continue to work in the area. We also want to make sure that it's an inviting place for the community to use after school and on weekends when they will be open. So we really work very closely with the people who use the park right now to figure out what we can add to these parks to make them more attractive. So we put in things like sports fields, running tracks that can also be used by the community to play weekend soccer games or for people to take walks around the track on Saturday mornings. We also put in trees, water fountains. Sometimes we put in play spray or water, like little water play, which is very popular during the summer months, especially June and July and August. And we also try to put in things like raised garden beds so that way there's, because New York is so urban, there's a space for kids to get their hands a little dirty and to meet an earthworm and to sort of figure out how different things are grown, that they just don't appear magically on the supermarket shelf looking like a tomato. It has to go through a process of seeding and so forth. We also try to put in areas like play equipment and then put benches around the play equipment so that the parents can come and watch the children who are playing on the play equipment. We also hope that while they're resting on the benches that they might want to get up and walk around the track a little bit as well. But we really want to make it a welcoming neighborhood resource. And I think the great thing is that in New York City we're able to do that through really connecting the community to the design of the arts. There are a number of challenges. I think the number one challenge is always money. Having enough money in our construction budget to take care of these, to be able to build these facilities. One of the things that I worry about is when you look at the condition of some of these schoolyards, there is cracked asphalt, you have drainage issues. I worry that with the limited budget that we have, that all the money is going to go underground fixing these issues before we're even able to put in things like trees or play equipment. So that's always a concern. Another thing that we're worried about is sort of the negative uses that can occur. A lot of times when we come into a community to talk about renovating the schoolyard, they're worried about who's going to be hanging out there. They're worried about drug use, prostitution, which are things that might be happening in the yard currently. And so one of the things that we really try to do is work with the community to figure out who are the people who are engaging in these activities, how we can talk to them, maybe bring them in to the process and explain to them this is a schoolyard, this is a place that is attached to a school, the kids are using it, this is really not the place for these negative uses. We also try to get them to tell us, what kind of things would you want in this park, to really involve the sort of the negative users in the design of the park, because that gives them a sense of ownership. And then we notice that once their needs are listened to, then they're more likely to move the negative uses to another location. And and that's one of the things that we really feel helps, having ownership of the playground. Yeah, I think one of the great things about New York City right now is Mayor Bloomberg's plan for the year 2030, which is by the year 2030, 1 million more residents are going to be living in New York City. In New York, Trust for Public Land has been building these playgrounds since 1996. Mayor Bloomberg, saw that and then sort of incorporated our ideas as well as the ideas of other nonprofits into the Schoolyards to Playgrounds initiative. And so it's been really great to have a mayor that's behind, that puts government money behind a lot of these initiatives. And I think that that's really going to empower a lot of communities in New York City, because it's not just schoolyards to playgrounds, it's also planting 1 million more trees, adding more bike routes, and safer walking pathways to New York City. And I think that's going to make a real difference, and I hope that it's used as a model for other cities across the country, because I think it's working out really well to have this sort of public-private partnership that Mayor Bloomberg has really encouraged in his tenure as New York. I would say, reach out to the people who live in the community, find out what they're interested in having, see if if you have the same goals, and then start talking to the elected officials once you sort of have a group behind you, and also really focus on having a specific design. If you want money for something, really make sure that you plan out exactly what you're asking for, how it will be done, how much it's going to cost. Go to a professional and maybe ask them to give you an estimate for how much things are going to cost. Ask them to do it pro bono, and a lot of times you'll be able to do that. Another thing is just reach out to foundations and talk to other people and see how they've done it, and maybe you can follow the same path or a similar path.